So we're done doing the tentacle trees. So right now we are going to do the ancient portal rocks and the mini ancient portal rock. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide this. I don't need that, and I'm gonna go back here. As far as I can remember, it's this two right here. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna separate them like this, and I'm going to split. So it should be this one right here. Okay, so what does this look like? I'm gonna go check my reference. So let's see. It's currently open on the other monitor, but it should be somewhere in here. Reference and somewhere in here. So it's supposed to kind of like look like this. Okay, so minimize, minimize, and first thing I'm gonna do is just work on this first thing right here. I'm just gonna select that. Keep in mind, we usually use the mask, right? But also we can use selection if we want to work on them separately. Keep in mind that if we hold Control Shift, left mouse click here, everything is gonna show. Nothing is deleted. We're just simply hiding what we don't want to work on. So let's go ahead and start on that ancient portal rock, however I freaking call that. So change my selection into clip curve. I'm gonna start clipping, make everything the way it is on the picture. Matter of fact, if you guys don't have two screens like me, what you can do is something like this. Go to texture. What we're going to do is make a picture appear right here. So you don't have to keep opening it, minimizing it, closing it. We can do that in Zbrush. So go to texture, click this one right here, this empty blank texture, and then hit import. Now we are going to find our reference, which happens to be in reference folder, and it's this one. So I'm just going to double click this. So as you can see, now it should be somewhere in here if you open your texture. What you're going to do next is you are going to hit this one, the one with the plus and minus sign. So to make that added and appear. So now it's right here. Just click your light box to minimize that. The way you drag this around is left mouse click hold. Now you can drag it around. And you can just hover on each buttons right here and you can see what it is. So scale, to scale it up, scale it down. Okay? And we usually use this thing right here to project textures on mesh. Now we will talk more about that on the advanced section when we're texturing. But for the sake and purpose of what we're doing right now, we're just going to use this as our reference. So the way that you are going to use this is something like this. So as long as you have this circle thing right here, you can left mouse click, drag it around however you want. You can even go to opacity and just, left mouse click, drag to adjust that. But that's usually what you're going to do. Just go counterclockwise or clockwise, and that's how you're going to adjust this. So say you already position this the way you want. Say somewhere in here. What you're going to do next is hit Z. Now when you hit Z, the circle thing disappears, and now you can't drag in or out and control where this image go, because now you're back to controlling your mesh, which is this one. If you want to make that controller pop up again, just press Z, letter Z. This is how you basically control this. Now if you want it to completely disappear, you're going to press Shift Z. Now it's completely gone. You can press Shift Z again and it will appear. Or you can go to texture and just simply click this one and click the plus and minus. Or you can just on and off. But it's going to reset your position and everything else. So just remember Shift Z and then Z. So right now, I made it disappear. I just press Z, Z. Okay. Now that that's done, now I can use that as a reference and I can just sculpt away, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep clipping because that's what we want. At least that's what I want. I always encourage you guys to, do things the way you want to. I don't want you guys to completely copy me. I don't know why I keep repeating myself, but I don't know. I want you guys to find your own creativity, not copy me. like go against what I'm teaching, you know? So let's see, something like this, maybe thin it out a bit, something like that. What else? Maybe something like this, flatten it a bit, maybe something like this, maybe not so much. And I can go to my H polish and just polish this. Okay, so if your brush is not working, just like what I'm doing right now, I'm using H polish and it's not working. Sometimes it's because this thing is active. So what you can do is just hit Shift Z and you're back to having control. You can smooth this again. So it doesn't work because usually, like I said, this is used for kind of like projecting color. Like if I go hit Z and I put this on top and I kind of like lower the opacity so I can see what I'm doing. And I go to somewhere like a clay buildup, I disable the add so I can't sculpt on my mesh. And I enable RGB and I press Z again to make the circle thing disappear, make my brush bigger. This is how you project color. So say we subdivide this, because like I said, the more subdivision you have, the more detail of color you are going to have, because ZBrush runs by vertex, right? So now we can project. Let's see. As you can see now, it has that thing. It's like a stencil tattoo. So this works good if you're like projecting character texture in here. That's how I use it, or like an eye on a character. Don't expect people to actually paint everything. Like everything that you see that looks so perfect in ZBrush, minimal of those people actually paint those things by hand. Most of them are projected, okay? So this is how we usually use this. You can even sculpt on top of it or something like that, but I'm gonna go back to maybe this. I kind of put my thing too high, so I'm gonna go back to 20. I'm gonna go back to select right here and work on this solely. So polish this even more. Other ways of polishing this and making everything hard is go to geometry and there's a thing called clay polish. So if we hit this, as you can see, everything becomes sharpened. So this thing right here, this is used on hard surface modeling too here on ZBrush. If you have something like this, like say your edges are right there but it's not defined completely, what you can do is click clay polish and it's going to define that. And that's how we usually use the clay polish or define most of our rock to make it kind of like stylized. So what I'm going to do is basically do the same thing that I've done here, just basically shaping this, and then we are going to further define this. So I'm gonna, well, this time I'm just gonna go mask that and make sure that I mask this. So Control Alt, make sure nothing's selected here, invert, and now I'm going to mask edit. So I'm gonna go back to clip curve, mask edit this, because sometimes this is just the way I roll. Why work on it individually if you can mask work on every single one of them and save time, right? I'm showing you guys so much ways, different workflows. I hope you don't like get lost or anything like that. Hopefully. Because, well, I'm just clipping. Nothing really special about this. Nothing that I can teach you about it. I'm just kind of like clipping and making a rock shape. Yeah. So, what can I do so you guys won't get bored while I'm clipping here? I'll just tell you a story. Okay, so today, when I first landed here in San Francisco and I was on Target, I was looking for a body wash, right? I see a homeless person outside, and I make it to where kind of like every time I see a homeless person, I give them a Twix. If you don't know what Twix is, it's this thing right here. It's a piece of chocolate, okay? And it's like for 89 cents here in Target, and I just kind of like buy that and give it to homeless people. So the last homeless person I gave it to, he's really nice and he kind of like really deserve it, because he really looks like a homeless person. But tonight, this homeless person that I gave Twix to tonight, when I approached him, I noticed he has a freaking iPhone, so it doesn't look like he's really homeless, or he's actually homeless, who knows. Because they always have those signs, homeless person, anything would help. So sometimes I'll buy the most random stuff on the store and just give it to them. The king crab that I bought on the China place, I'm supposed to give it to the homeless person too. But like, I was thinking, how can they cook that? But I remember homeless people are very creative. Or some of them just happens to be having a lot of money. They're just being lazy, so they beg instead. I'm just kind of disappointed that the homeless person begging outside the street seems to have more money than me, because he can afford the newest frigging iPhone. So yeah, story of my life. Okay, so where were we? I'm gonna go summon my reference back. Shift Z, and then Z again, drag this here. Let's see, so some of them are thick, some of them aren't. You know what? I can mask this and move this a bit. So shift and then shift, move it here. So something like that for variation purposes. And I don't want to make them have the same, you know, down parts. So I'm gonna mask this, invert, just clip it differently. Something like, maybe something like this. Okay, so something like this. Let's see if we can hit clay polish. So now it looks like this. So I'm gonna save this real quick. I'm gonna go to my Pencil Poly Zbrush and Swamp. And I'm gonna go edit my mini tiny rocks right here. I'm just gonna mass edit them. You know what, matter of fact, I'm just gonna go select this. As you can see, all of them mostly look like this. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So mask this one and just clip, randomly clip this. I don't think it really matters how I shape this. I just want it to look kind of like a rock. Something like that. Not too thick, maybe. So something like this. And maybe something like this. I just don't want them to have kind of like a human mechanical feel to it. To be kind of like organic enough. But it still has that naturally kind of hard to it. Something like that. Let's see. This one. Maybe this and that. And show everything. I'm gonna save this again quickly. And what we can do next is, let's see, so Z, scale this up. So you can see it has those things, this blue things right here. So time to search for some kind of like Chinese symbol. Again, it's showing on my outer screen, Chinese, Japanese symbol, it doesn't really matter. I just want like a base stroke that I can kind of like follow. So we have something like this. So I can just go ahead and kind of like copy this, save it on my desktop. Now do what you want. You can either right click, save it, put it wherever you want. You can either put this even on your reference folder, which is right here. But for me, I'm just going to keep it on my desktop because I'm going to delete this afterwards. Again, go to your texture, click this one, hover to import. We are going to import that picture. again, click your add. So as you can tell right here, you have these two things right here. So what if you just want the characters, the Chinese characters? What you can do is go to this one, click the actual texture image and just hit the plus minus right here, and it should be gone. And now we only have this thing right here. I'm gonna keep this on the side. I'm just gonna go start on my writing thing. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put some on the front and some on the back, so we can use them, rotate them however we want. It's gonna look cool. So I'm gonna go to my clay buildup, BCB. Maybe transfer to this alpha right here. Let's see how it looks. So I'm gonna turn off RGB because I don't want to kind of like paint color on this. So it's not painting because I have that thing on, so Shift C. And now as you can see, we have that. So I'm gonna turn this off. We have some, let's see, this thing right here. I'm just creating bases. So remember that if this is on, you can't actually sculpt on your stuff. So you have to kind of like turn it off. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and experiment on this. I need to add more geometry to this. Maybe 327 is good. And like I said, I'm just going to kind of like sculpt in. Let's see. Up my intensity here. That's good enough. So something like this. Maybe thin it out. I need more. As subdivide again, I need more resolution. So one there, one there, one there. I'm just randomly picking here and kind of like mix matching. I just want it to look cool. I don't really care like if it means anything, but you can make it mean something though if you want. So let's see if I can go to stroke here and click lazy mouse and just up this. Now it's so much better to kind of like write, right? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna up the lazy radius so I can just right here and it's gonna be straight, easily straight. So the higher it is, the more control and better writing that you can have. And I'm holding Alt as I do this. That looks ugly. So I'm just gonna open my symbols on my other monitor because I keep forgetting. Like seriously, I keep forgetting what I'm doing. So I have the symbols on my other screen, and I'm going to just add that there. Something like this. Maybe add something like this here and in here. It's not actually anything. It doesn't really mean anything. I'll be surprised if this means anything at all. It looks like it's some kind of like symbol, but it's really not. So I'm gonna play with my sizes too. So I'm gonna leave that like that. I'm gonna go to my next stone and I'm going to maybe choose this and then that. Go here and then here and somewhere in here. You know what? This looks weird. I'm gonna transfer to maybe some Japanese symbols. So something like this, something straight. I think something straight like this is going to look good. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I can either Control Z or I can just drag this. Oh, by the way, you guys can even mask this and inflate it negatively. So you can either hold your control, go to your mask pen right here, make sure you are on freehand. There's so many ways of doing this, but I'm going to teach you both so you don't get overwhelmed. So you have your mask pen right here if you hold control, right? And you can either kind of draw in. Say you kind of like draw it like this. this is the shape that you want. So of course, after you draw that in, you're going to invert, right? So the black parts are not going to be affected. You're going to go here on the deformation, and all you have to do is inflate down. And as you can see, now you have a symbol, kind of like a symbol. Same thing that we want right here. Depends on you in whichever way you want, but I found that this is easier for me. But also this could be really helpful to you, because as you can see, you have this, right? You can shape your mask. So if you hold Control and you hold Alt, this erases your mask. So you can either kind of shape this however you want. If you want more fine details and finesse on your shapes, your symbol things, whatever you're doing, I advise you to use the mask, just like what I'm doing right now. Okay, and just invert, inflate, and as you can see, it looks cooler. Now these are the things that I'm going to use here. I'm either going to use clay buildup, the brush as it is, and press Alt to sculpt in, or I am going to use the masking. Now at the very end of the video, I might change my mind and kind of completely redesign my portal rocks right here, but I'm just showing you guys different ways of doing the same thing. Okay, so masking and sculpting, two ways to do the same thing here in Zbrush. So this is me just sculpting this and kind of like masking too. That's really all I'm doing. And I'm just putting random stroke. So the video was taking so long, that's why I kind of have to end it there, but this is my final result. I just kind of completely re-scratch everything, and I just mask and use clay buildup, same alpha here, same thing that I've taught you. And I just decimate. I just went on my Z plugin and pre-process that and decimate. That's really all I did, and this is my final results. Also, I did a little bit of the snake hook brush, BSH right here, and I just move vertex, like little bits of vertex, but that's really all I did. So yeah, this is my final result. Don't forget to kind of like save this right here. I've already saved this, and just export somewhere in here. As you can see, mine's already exported. And we are going to end the video here. I hope you end up on some designs and onto some sculpt that you like. And make sure that you put it for as low as you can, with it still kind of like keeping this details right here, okay? So I'll see you on the next video. Bye!